Here we are again in the reading of the Word. We are in the book of John, and we're going to read chapter 5. Christ heals the impotent man. After this, there was a feast of the Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Now there is at Jerusalem by the sheep market a pool, which is called in the Hebrew word Bethesda, having 5 porches. In these lay a great multitude of impotent folks, of blind, halt, withered, waiting for the moving of the water. For an angel went down at a certain season into the pool, troubled the water, whatever then first, after the troubling of the water, stepped in, was made whole of whosoever disease he had, or whatsoever disease he had. And a certain man was there, which had an infirmity 38 years. And Jesus saw him lie, and knew that he had been there now a long time. In that case, he saith unto him, Wilt thou be made whole? And the impotent man answered him, Sir, I have no man, when the water is troubled, to put me into the pool. But while I am coming, another steppeth down before me. And Jesus saith unto him, Rise, take up thy bed and walk. We see that in Matthew 9 and 6, Mark 2:11, and in Luke 5 and 24. And immediately the man was made whole, took up his bed, walked, and on the same day was the Sabbath. Now we see Christ, he breaks the Sabbath laws. He wrote the Sabbath laws. They were his writing. But he's changing things now. These Sabbath laws are going to be changed. The Jews therefore said unto him that were cured, It is the Sabbath day. It is not lawful for thee to carry thy bed. He answered them, He that made me whole, the same said unto me, Take up thy bed and walk. Then asked they him, What man is that which saith unto thee, Take up thy bed and walk? And he was healed. Was not who it was? For Jesus had conveyed himself away, a multitude being in that place. And afterward Jesus findeth him in the temple, and saith unto him, Behold, thou art made whole, sin no more, lest a worse thing come upon thee. The man departed and told the Jews that it was Jesus which had made him whole. And therefore did the Jews persecute Jesus and sought to slay him, because he had done these things on the Sabbath day. Let's look at the equality of the nature of God in verses 17 and 18. Jesus answered them, My Father worketh hereunto, and I work. Therefore the Jews sought the more to kill him, because he not only had broken the Sabbath, but said also that God was his Father, making himself equal with God. Chapter 7 and verse 19. Equality with God is power. Then answered Jesus and said unto them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, the Son can do nothing of himself, but what he seeth the Father do. For what things soever he doeth, these also doth the Son likewise. For the Father loveth the Son, and dwelleth and showeth him all things that maketh himself doeth. And he will show him greater works than these, that ye may marvel. For as the Father raiseth up the dead, and quickeneth them, even so the Son quickeneth whom he will. And now we're going to see in verse 22 the equality with God in authority. For the Father judgeth no man, but hath committed all judgment unto the Son. In chapter 3 and 35, remember? in 17:2, Matthew chapter 11 and verse 27, Acts 17 and 31, 1 Peter 4 and 5, we read these quotations. But all men should honor the Son, even as they honor the Father. He that honoreth not the Son honoreth not the Father, which hath sent him. You can't get up there, cat. No, you can't get up there. No. And verily, verily, I say unto you, he that, no, cat, you can't get up there. He that heareth my words and believeth on me, that God sent me, hath everlasting life, and shall not come unto condemnation, but is passed from death unto life. Verily, verily, I say unto you, the hour is come, and now is, when the dead shall hear the voice of the Son of God, and they that hear shall live. For as the Father hath life in himself, so hath he given to the Son to have life in himself, and hath given him authority to execute judgment, also because he is the Son of Man. Cat, you can't get up there. I got my computer where the cat usually lies, and she's not happy about that. And hath given him authority to execute judgment, also because he is the Son of Man. Marvel not at this, for the hour is coming in which all that are in the grave shall hear his voice, and shall come forth. They that have done good unto resurrection of life, and they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation and judgment, is what he's talking about here. I can of mine own self do nothing. As I hear, I judge, and my judgment is just, because I seek not mine own will, but the Father's will of the Father which hath sent me. Now the witness of John the Baptist. If I bear witness of myself, my witness is not true. In chapter 8 and 14, we can see that through 28, chapter 12 to 49. Revelation 3 and 14. There is another that bear witness of me, and I know that the witness which he witnesses of me is true. Ye sent unto John, and he bare witness unto the truth. But I received not the testimony from man, but these things I say that ye might be saved. He was a burning and a shining light. Ye were willing for a season to rejoice in his light. 2 Peter 1 and 19 and Mark 6 and 20, we see the temporary. The witness of works of Christ. Verse 36. But I have greater witness than that of John. For if the works which the Father hath given me to finish, the same works that I do bear witness of me, that the Father hath sent me. And we saw that in 1 John 5 and 9, 1 John 3 and 2, 1 John 10, 20 through 25. The Father himself, which has sent me, hath bore witness of me. Ye neither heard his voice at any time, nor saw his shape. Chapter 6 and 27, chapter 8 and 18, Deuteronomy 4 and 12. And ye have not his word abiding in you, for whom he hath sent, him ye believe not. Now verse 39. Search the scripture, for in them ye think ye have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And ye will not come to me, that ye might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that ye have not the love of God in you. I am come in my Father's name, and ye receive me not. If any shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one of another, and seek not the honor that cometh from God only? Do not think that I will accuse you to my Father. This is one that accuseth you, even Moses, in whom ye trust. But had ye believed Moses, ye would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not this witness, how shall ye believe my words? Wow. And this world does not believe what this word says. Now, we just read chapter 5 in roughly 10 minutes with some narration. And so we see that the book of John can be read with 10 or 15 minutes a day. And if you do it first thing in the morning, you can meditate on it. If you're going to read one chapter a day for 21 days, take this book and read it and carry it. Make a notation, even write the whole book down and carry it with you for the day. And read it 2 or 3, 4, 5 times that day. You can read it, if you read it once an hour for all the hours you're awake, and you're awake 10 hours, you would read these 47 verses 10 times in 10 hours at 10 minutes per hour. And that means that 10 tens is 60 minutes. You would have read 1 hour the Bible if you did that. And so you can actually put it in your heart by doing that. And you will receive a great reward from God as you go on. He will enlighten you, and He will give you the ability to just eat this book. And that's what we need to do. We need to eat this book. We need to know what it says. We need to be able to tell other people what it says. And we need to eat this word and take it into ourselves. And that would be there for us, so we know how to walk. But we will see you next time. We have turned 10 minutes into 12. And we will see you next time. Right. Bye-bye.